Welcome to another episode of DD on the Spot. As always, I'm your host Ryan Johnson, and again, you guys, Laurie. I'm not even going to do the introduction for her because she's been on for what? Yeah, she's been on for what, like 5 times now. It's like
Maybe something like that.
something like that. She's one of the long-term guests, everyone. So yes, she doesn't even need an introduction, but yeah, she's on here to share what she's been up to over this last year. And yeah, unlike a lot of other guests that I've talked to her about before, like when I say, what have you been up to this last year? A lot of stuff has gone on in her life. You know, she's back competing again. And yeah, we'll get into that. But I mean, Laurie, thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate it.
I'm happy to be here. Always good to see you.
Well, I ask this question every single time, regardless of how many times people say, oh, it's boring, come up with a new opener. What is the weather like today?
Oh, I think it's going to be about 85 and sunny here today in Atlanta. So not too bad. What about by you?
Cloudy. We got a huge rainstorm last night, and it's been like that the last couple of days, and then it's still looking a little cloudy. Although, like I told you a million times, with this skin tone of mine, you know, this is the perfect weather for me to go outside and go for a walk. So I just don't know what the weather is. It's just muggy. We're getting into those dog days of summer where we got about 2 to 3 bad weeks left, and then finally things look like they're gonna get better, and then and we get that winter here. Everyone, if you haven't listened to this, she's really from Wisconsin, so she knows exactly what I'm talking about. But
Right, but you have on a flannel shirt.
Well, that's just because I don't want to get embarrassed by my guests. You know, I gotta cover up a little bit here now. I mean, you're twice my age and you look better than me. So I mean, I gotta for my own sanity, really, I gotta cover up now. But and it's my house is a freaking icebox too. I don't know. I mean, it's either going to be my mom or my dad says, hey, now, thankfully, I am moving out in a month, but, whoever sets the AC in this house, I am just absolutely. So I was originally going to move out right before COVID hit. I had moved out for 2 weeks, and then COVID hit, and then that lasted for about 2 weeks, and then I had to move back in. So finally got it out again. So yeah, I'm excited about that. But yeah, I just cleaned up my room last week, and that was interesting, going through all my old crap that I have and everything. I found an old family tree that dates back to like the 1600s that I thought that I'd lost. So that was really cool.
Oh yeah, that's cool. It's always good to purge too. I like to get rid of stuff.
Well, my parents had the last say in that, so they got rid of like all my trophies and stuff like that. So I was like, I can't remember any of my academic or athletic excellence anymore. So but it happens.
I feel you. I don't have my trophies anymore either.
Yeah, that's true. I was like, let me just keep one. So I kept one. I kept my most prized one. But before we get into my vanishing childhood and all that's gone with that, Laurie, why don't you give us an update on what you've been up to? I mean, it's been quite a year for you.
Yeah. So let's see. Last October, I got a new job. So now I'm managing business development for a toy company, which is super cool. I love it. And then my house burned down in March, and I lost everything, including my trophies. But mostly, the most important things that I lost were, the memories, my daughter's baby book, all that stuff. But everything's replaceable, and just waiting for it was a condo, so 10 units went down. So I'm just waiting for the building to get rebuilt and move on with my life. And then I wasn't going to compete, and then I decided I would. So here we are, 5 weeks out.
I was telling her before, I was looking at her Instagram page right before this, and she was talking about, she had a post from 2020 where she's like, now that I've officially retired from bodybuilding, and it's like, well, it's always funny to see. So like I've said, it's never over till it's over with some of these competitors on. So yeah, and it's.
Yeah, right. We just can't stop. Our bodies even are telling us to stop, and we just keep going.
So is your body telling you to stop?
Well, my knees for sure. Yeah, for sure. But the rest of me is like, it just keeps growing.
That's the weird thing about this sport is that, like, yeah, there's that one area that always keeps growing, and the knees. Yeah, I cannot. How do you cope with having knee problems as a bodybuilder? Because like that can result for a lot of your workouts. Like, how do you cope with the bad knees at times?
So this season, I've been doing a lot more self-care. So I've gone to lots of chiropractor appointments. I've had Shiatsu, which is really super deep tissue massage, a lot of cupping, a lot more rolling. When I lift, I'm doing more, less weight and more time under tension. You and I have talked about that before. And I think that works out better for me. There are things that you can do exercise-wise that will still help you with your muscle and not injure your joints. I don't do like 25 reps of anything. You know what I mean? It's just taking care of those joints is really important.
Well, I ask
Knee
you
sleep,
this. Oh, that too. Sleep. Good God.
yeah. Well, knee sleeves, sleep, all that.
Yeah. You can tell from my eyes I didn't get that much sleep last night. Yeah, it was a late night, everyone. So, but I ask you this every single time that you come on. What is one area that you think you've improved on the most of your physique since we last had you on?
I'm hoping it's my hamstrings. Yeah, that
Even
is,
even with the bad knees.
even with the bad knees. Yeah. I mean, my upper body is always good, so it's just the lower body that I have to kind of concentrate on. So the hamstrings, backs of legs, tie-in, all that is really what I've been working on this year.
Well, I saw before that you originally got a new coach and then you went back to your old coach. What was that like, sort of mixing things up in the coaching realm?
Okay, so I thought that I should go with a coach that was nearby, and the gentleman that I picked is also a promoter. He's an IFBB pro. He has a lot of competitors, athletes that he takes care of. And I just felt like he was a little uninvested for me. We weren't making any progress after, I think it was like 10 weeks that I was with him. And I took some pictures, sent them back over to Damien at Pro Physiques. And he's like, oh, yeah, we can fix you. So that was a couple of weeks, I guess, beginning of August. So I've been working with him again since, the 1st of August. So, and I think we're making some good progress. So he said, I was concerned I wasn't going to be ready for Daytona on October 1st, and he said, no, you got this. Or we got this. So that's what I'm aiming for. I haven't signed the contract yet, but I have made all the arrangements around the show. So I think I'm going to do that one, 5 weeks.
I mean, so what is that like, going, I mean, from basically 4 weeks ago, not knowing if you were ready for a show, what was that like for you stress-wise mentally? Because that is like, you're like 9 weeks out at that point and you didn't even know if you'd be ready yet?
Right. It was stressful. I mean, like I said, I just felt like the other coach was uninvested, and um, it just wasn't a good fit. So I kind of, struggled with that. But I knew that Damien knew my body because had been coaching. He had coached me for a few years before, and even though I'm a little bit older, I mean, he's the winningest coach out there. So he knows what to do. He's Sid Gillen's coach. He knows what the judges are looking for, what package to bring to the stage. So I felt confident that he would be the right way to go.
Have you been tweaking things up with your posing routine at all, or?
Yeah, so I'm working with Autumn Cleveland. I had been working with Sid for a while, in years past, but she's so busy. Not to say that Autumn's not; she's super busy too. But I found several places where I could kind of fit into her schedule, and I've been working on it. Worked on it this morning actually for a little while, so trying to get that down. That's another thing that's a little bit affected by my knees. There are certain things that I have to kind of cut out because I can't turn certain ways or whatever. But um, I think I'm getting it down.
Were your knees always sort of an issue? Because it's like the first time I've heard about them being like that bad. Was it something that just recently is sort of finally like took its toll on, or what has been the history like with your knees?
I think I told you many chats ago that I used to run, so I think that was kind of the beginning of issues with my knees. But I now, since COVID, working from home, I sit down so much that it's my hip flexors. My hips get tight, which actually it's in your hamstrings. It goes down into your knees. It's all connected, right? So I think that that's a big part of it. Just sitting down more, to be honest with you.
Have you ever tried like one of those medicine balls? I know a couple of friends that do that now, where they just like sit on those balls instead of sitting on chairs and stuff like that, and they claim that it helps with stuff.
I have heard that, and I almost bought one, but what I ended up buying was kind of the same effect. It's kind of the top portion of a medicine ball that I put on my chair. So you kind of wobble around on it a little bit, but it definitely stabilizes my hips better. And I feel like I have to sit up straighter in order to not rock around on it. So I think that it's been helpful, but I think I maybe did it a little bit too late. The damage had been done. So I'm just working through it. Yeah.
And you mentioned like those deep tissue massages and stuff. We talked about this last time, like how the body looks all beat up and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I'm concerned for some of these guests. I was like, wait, what really happened to you? But I've heard the name Shiatsu Massage before, but I don't know what exactly is a Shiatsu Massage.
Yeah. So what I thought I was going in for was acupuncture, but he calls it acupressure, which is really the same thing as shiatsu. It was just very small Japanese man, and he just tore me up. I mean, I was on a massage table, and he was digging so deep, I was banging on the table. It hurt so bad, tears coming out of my eyes. Um, but it's just he just gets way down in the muscle and breaks up, scarring with his fingers and his elbows. And then after he had done like my erectors, the lower part of my back, he put on the cupping, which this was like maybe 4 weeks ago. I still have cup marks on my back because usually they just light a little flame and then the, skin sucks in. This was electric. And I think, and they were big like this. So I think that a lot more skin got pulled in. There's probably a lot more damage inside, the tissue or the muscle. And they stayed on for about 15 minutes, and it was brutal, but good. I felt really great when I left.
These ways that people have come up with to like do that type of stuff, it is crazy to me to really think about it. But hey, it's crazy how with like just with your fingers, you can make so much difference with someone. Really, just
Yep, it's absolutely true. Yeah. Maybe it didn't, but I felt like it did. Like you go through so much pain while you're there that when you finally get off the table, you're like, oh, I feel so good.
do you wake up next morning feeling like crap, or is it still feel good even after that?
No, I iced it a good bit that night, and I felt pretty good the next day. I mean, I looked like I had been beat up because the purple marks on my back and stuff, but I've been feeling better. Yeah, and I've been doing the Graston. Have you heard of that too? Graston. It's like a metal tool, and they dig to. You can feel like all these like ribs or like bumps underneath your muscle, but they basically it's the chiropractor does it, and he's breaking down the fascia to allow the muscle to grow further and to help with more definition between the muscle. So also painful.
I would imagine. I've seen some videos of that where people look like they're giving birth basically while it's happening to them, where it's
Right. And then you have little hickey marks kind of all over your body.
that too as well. It is, yeah. I've seen some of those just because I like the reactions when people go underneath that. I will never do that myself because I am, I first of all I don't want to do that, and second of all, I don't want people to see my scared face or my reaction that would probably happen from that as well. But
I'm sure they've seen it all. I'm sure.
Well, that too. So are they more fascinated by someone like you coming in and getting a massage because obviously like you're a little bit more probably defined than the average guest that they have? So do they think that it's easier for them because like you are more visible, like it's easier work for them, or do they might think it's maybe harder because there's more stuff to deal with? Have you gotten any reactions of like, oh, you're my ideal client, or like, or you're someone that I hate because I have to put so much more work into it because there's so much more to deal with?
Well, actually, where I'm going for the Graston and for some of the deep tissue massage is they really only work with athletes. So it's possible that I'm maybe a rarer athlete and that I'm older and a bodybuilder, but they deal with, professional football players and baseball players. So I'm probably just, a dime a dozen.
Yeah, probably. Well, and that's what you got to do with. I mean, I would go to a place like that too. I wouldn't just go to some, like Joe Schmo, just regular place where they're just like, hey, this is you're the yeah. So
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm just gonna try it out, but yeah.
We talk about nutrition every time. Since you put on some size, you change up your nutrition at all, or are you just eating more? Where's that falling under?
So the last 2 weeks, I've actually been increasing my calories. I know, even on, like I'm doing one high carb, 3 low carb days. But even on my low carb day, I brought this over here because I knew you were going to refer to it. I get 250 grams of carbs on my low carb days and 2,000 calories. So I feel like I'm pretty lucky. My body loves food, and I've been losing weight. So, and on my high carb day, I get 325 grams of carbs. So,
Can I just say I feel so much more for you because I went to my first bodybuilding show like a month ago. It was in the Twin Cities Open, so it was literally like 5 minutes from where I live. So I went there. being 6'3" and me standing in there just waiting to get in there, I towered above anyone else that was even in that line to just even go in there. So I don't know what it's like to be a competitor then and have that like too, where like you are so much taller than everyone. I couldn't understand it. Like I saw above everyone. There's probably like 2 or 3 people that were maybe coming close to me, but it was insane in a crowd of like 1,000 people to just like see.
Right. All the competitors.
Well,
Well,
that
I
too,
would say,
yeah.
yeah, 80% of the competitors are, a full head shorter than me. So it makes a difference. But I mean, yeah, I'm tall.
Do the judges ever say that it's harder to judge someone like you just because you are so much taller than the average person that you'll go up on stage against?
I haven't heard that from the judges, but I do believe that to be true. I mean, yes, I have muscle, but it just looks so different on a person that's 5'2" versus someone who's 5'10". It just does. So I think it makes a difference, but they're not saying it out loud.
I wish there would be more people that were taller that were in here because then you guys could have your own category like 5'8" or whatever and up or something like that. And then I think that would be so much easier on everything. Yeah.
It would be. I don't know if you heard this, Ryan, but next year the Arnold, they completely took figure out.
I was just
Did you
about to
hear that?
ask you that. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you believe it? I mean, they put in pole dancing instead of figure.
I mean, to some people that's more entertaining, but not me. But no, I'm just saying. But
I guess whoever sells tickets,
I
right? I mean,
yeah, figure is where it really just got to me. I was like, I could maybe see your reasoning for bodybuilding and maybe for physique, but like figure, it's like they're getting too bulky for you, like the figure competitors. So yeah, I don't
well,
know.
there are a lot of blurred lines, to be honest with you, right now. I mean, I've been to a few shows recently, and I see the figure girls. A lot of them have shifted down from physique, and the posing is even. They're kind of peppering in some of the physique poses instead of just the traditional figure. So I just feel like there's, and I could be wrong. Just for me, I think there's blurred lines between the categories. I mean, they're trying to be physique girls with heels. Not all of them, but there are a good many.
Well, honestly, if it was up to me, I'd have the bikini girls doing bodybuilding poses basically then because it's like yeah, I don't know. Figure, yeah, you just have the quarter turns and everything, and I do think they should add a little bit more to it too. But yeah, I have the show that I went to, yeah, you could see with some of the figure competitors, I was like, those don't look like some of the guests that I've had on, like
Right,
yeah,
right.
you can
They're
tell that,
getting
yeah.
right.
Yep, they
Yeah.
are getting a little, and I don't know what it's going to be like, 5-10 years from now, but we'll see. You'll probably still be competing, even though you say right now you won't be. So
I'm not going to sing anymore. I'm not
Yeah,
going to
because
sing.
she's learned her lesson now. Not even to announce anything. Not until you can tell that like she's lost like 20 pounds or something like that. Then you're like,
Right.
okay, yeah, then maybe that's the. And even then, I've had some people that I know that have done that, and then they just find a way to gain it back in like a year and a half, and then they're back on stage again. So
Yeah,
just
kind of your body knows what to do, I guess.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that, yeah, again, and I mean, you've had a very stressful year. How have you been dealing with the stress of it all? Because that is one thing that impacts the body more than a lot of people like to admit.
Um, I don't know if I should say this or not. So my daughter is working at a legal dispensary. So she's bringing home this Delta 8 and it's helping me sleep. It's just CBD, but it's legal. And it definitely helps me sleep. So I just and that's all I do, just one gummy before bed. And it just really helps me relax. I'm not a drinker. I don't smoke anything, but that really just helps me relax and it's, natural. So I feel like it can't be horrible, right? It's not like I'm pounding a bunch of narcotics. So that's what helpful. And baths.
It's still illegal in Minnesota, unfortunately.
CBD?
Yep.
Really?
Well, they just passed. It comes into law in like a couple of months where the CBD is now legal, and they did it by accident because I think it was. I don't know the whole story, but like I know, they just passed medical marijuana too, but that everything else is still illegal here. Even though I don't even know about Wisconsin. I think people might go over there and get some stuff, but I know that like yeah, so that is still. Again, I think that there are bigger problems to fry, and I think that that's to be the least of
Yeah.
everyone's concern. But
Me
Hey, the
too.
legislation will do what they want to do. But yeah, the moment that you mentioned that, I was like, oh, great. It must be nice to live in a place where you can have that freely and all that stuff. But hey,
Yeah.
I have heard multiple people talk about its benefits, especially when it comes to sleep and just de-stressing as well. And yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
I have friends, I have dozens of friends, I should say, that take it themselves that I know of. So it's
Yeah.
even my parents were looking into it because they're like they have trouble sleeping now too. So then they're just like, hey, so you know,
Yeah.
who
It's good
knows?
stuff.
Absolutely.
And it's legal. So
I don't want to be making drug runs for my parents just yet. I'm not to that point yet.
you're not
I'm
plugging
a
in
few
your
weeks
parents,
away. I'm a few weeks away from that stage, but not currently right
not
now.
under their roof.
Not yeah, well yeah, then I can just leave a package for them. Then I don't have to be like there to witness, I can say that I legally didn't see them taking anything, so I
Sure.
can't be held accountable for that. But so like you are actually eating a lot for your last 4 weeks. Is there any plan ahead of time of like when you're finally gonna cut down on some food, or is he just gonna be like, hey, I got a surprise for you. You're gonna eat like this until until you're one day out, basically.
I mean, I don't know really for sure. I'm just enjoying it right now. I'm not I'm not skipping a calorie. I get right to my the very ends of my macros. I'm sure that I'll cut a little bit, but even at this calorie intake, I'm losing weight. So um, we'll see what happens. I mean, the last time I worked with Damien, I didn't have to cut water or anything at the end. It just all like everything was so easy for me. Like, I shouldn't say that. I know it's going to piss a lot of people off, but I didn't have,
Knock on
I
wood.
don't, I know, I don't really struggle on peak week or anything like that. So um, I'm very fortunate in that I just get to eat.
That's a good problem to have. And when it comes to show day, what is your favorite part about show day, and what is your least favorite part about show day?
Um, in the past, I think the favorite part of the show day really is gosh, there's so much of it. You try to live in the moment, but it's just great, the camaraderie backstage and everybody kind of banding together and having fun. But being on stage is great. I mean, I wish it lasts longer than a minute and a half, but it doesn't. The least favorite part is probably um, just getting up early. Beyond that, I think it is what it is. Or I mean, it's all fun to me. You know,
Well, the one thing that really surprised me is just how long that whole damn day is.
they've been doing it a lot differently now, and I don't know if you saw it at the show that you were at, but they're doing the evening show kind of right away. It's almost like not even an evening show. Now, I don't know if it's going to be like that in Daytona, but it's not like you have to wait half the day to get back out there to find out who placed. It's right after the morning show, essentially.
Yeah, the
I
one that
mean,
I went to, the prejudging started at 11 and it went till like 2 and then finals started at 5. Yeah.
that's the one you went to?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how they're trying to do it now. So that's really not that bad. It used to be that they started the show be 8 o'clock in the morning. The morning show would be over by 10 essentially, and then you don't go back until 6 o'clock or later at night. I mean, you have the whole day to just kind of sit around in your suit because it's glued on. You don't normally take it off, so that makes for a long day. And then your makeup gets all cruddy and um, you know filled with water.
The one crappy thing though or the one thing that was so unique about this show is that it was at a casino, so they were serving booze and everything like that, like for finals and everything like that. They had like a booze stand and everything. So I was like, this is not the place to really be serving any of these competitors alcohol after the show, because one shot and they're probably just going to be blasted out of their absolute minds. So
No
just how died
kidding.
it down they
Right.
are. So that
Let
was
him
fun.
put Parker in first.
Yeah. And that's I because two of the guests that I've had on, they were standing right next to me. I even asked them, I said, is that normal? Like, do they normally just serve like drinks and stuff like that? And he goes like no, this is the only time I've ever seen like an actual like alcohol booth in the back for people. So hey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Backstage. Wow. No, I mean, I've seen. So last year when I did the show in Reno, they had up in the VIP section, they had, I don't know if it was open bar or whatever, but they had a couple of bars up there for people. I mean, I didn't drink anything. I think it was more for the guests, the people who were watching the show. But what they have cut out now is they used to have food backstage after a show, donuts and stuff like that. They don't do any of that anymore. I don't know if it has to do with COVID or allergies, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, I brought my own stuff anyway, but they used to have something there.
I finally got my first guest to admit though that they finally do shots before going on stage. I've had a handful of them now say like, yeah, I do a shot of whatever before I walk on that stage just for that liquid courage, because I was always one where I was like, that might be what I'd need to do, and then I finally got like a handful of them to admit it. So my goal during this whole podcast has finally been accomplished, where I finally, I set out to finally get people to admit to some things, and finally we got it. We accomplished our goals, everyone. So yeah,
there was one show, Ryan, that I thought it would be a good idea to drink red wine before I went out on stage, because I thought it was going to make me feel, like look more vascular, and it didn't. I guess I'm vascular anyway, so I think it may have made me feel more relaxed, but honestly, I think it was just made me feel more not myself. I don't know. I like to be in control, and I hadn't drank so long, and I'd had, it was a good probably half a glass of wine, and I already felt a little dizzy from it.
Good luck walking on that stage, yeah, especially in those heels.
Right. So I'm not doing that anymore. Maybe if I didn't have the heels on, I would do it again, but no, that's not my thing.
I would say if we had a drunk bodybuilding show, that'd be the greatest thing ever. Seeing some of these competitors still try to do their posing while they're just plastered out of their minds. That would be a fun thing to see. I think that if Arnold, if you're going to bring it back, have it be like that then. I mean, that's how you get some butts in the seats right there if you want to see that. So no, but
right. Maybe some EDM music,
I was surprised that they were playing music too when everyone was on stage posing. I thought that it was going to be like silent, because I thought people I thought they were just going to play their posing song that they wanted to play, but like during just the prejudging and stuff like that, they were just playing music, and I was like, okay, that would be kind of hard for me to focus with all the music and stuff, but apparently that's just a thing that happens with everywhere. So I was shocked by that as well.
Yeah. And so yeah, the people who are posing, the competitors are posing, they have their own music, but everybody else, you get what you get. So if it's a song you hate, it's unfortunate.
Oh, I would play the worst music ever just as a troll. I would treat the athletes like they were the greatest thing of all time before the show, but then as soon as they stepped on, the one time that I'd kind of like make troll them a little bit is that I'd play a crappy song when they were doing their pre-judge. That's the only thing I would do that would be wrong. Everything else would be like perfect up to just so that I could get a little bit of a laugh. And it would be just for some of the guests, some of the other shows, like the ones that I really cared about. Yeah, that's fine. But I think that would be funny. Again, this is why I'm not hosting a show, or I don't do a show myself or whatever. It's a good thing, everyone, just because of the way that would probably, eventually turn out. But yeah. So your cardio, are you still keeping up to what you normally do? Or are you doing less cardio now than normal? Are you doing more? Where does that fall
I just got my cardio upped. So I'm doing only, I was up until this week, I was doing just 20 minutes of steady state, not Stairmaster, just treadmill. And then he upped it to 25 minutes, but it's just steady state. It's so easy. I mean, I hear these girls are like eating 45 grams of carbs and 45 minutes of cardio. And I'm like, I feel so bad. I'm so lucky. 25 minutes is nothing. It's just boring,
I talked to one guest who does an hour of cardio in the morning, half an hour in the afternoon, and half an hour at night.
I'd rather eat less. And nobody has time for that. No one.
I mean, you could be taking business calls while you're on the treadmill.
I guess. I mean, I would just rather not do cardio.
I don't understand that myself.
I mean, think of the time that sucks out of your day. I mean, I spend enough time at the gym. I don't want to be there for another hour. Yeah.
I cannot imagine doing. I mean, I just go for walks at night, and sometimes they can sometimes go up to 2 hours just if I'm feeling it and the weather's right and stuff like that. But that's a whole different story than like being forced to do it.
Look at, you have stimulation when you're on the treadmill. I mean, I'll watch a TV show. I mean, like I said, I don't do much cardio. Mostly what I do is shop.
I run into my deer and I run into my wild turkeys out on the walks there. But yeah, that's
wild turkeys.
Yeah, we have wild turkeys out here. Yeah, they just walk. I live right next to a nature park, so they have them. They just walk around.
Oh.
So yeah, I run into them probably about every other time, and then I always see at least one deer every time that I go out on a walk on that trail. At least the last time I saw like two big bucks just had a crap load of antlers, and then sometimes I'll run into like an owl or something, and I'll see, So, but yeah, there's all of that stuff out there. But
I would walk for 2 hours if I'm going to potentially see something, like that too, but it's not like that
Just
in the
don't
gym.
do it at night where like they can run out right in front of you and you don't even know that they were there.
Well, you need to get a headlight.
Well, nah, not really. I mean, I was biking, and this is when I was super young, and I was just biking down the road. It wasn't even in the trail, but it was like right next to the trail, and I was biking and I had my headphones in. This was like at like 1 a.m. because I was just out. I used to stay up like super, super late. And then that all of a sudden just a deer just ran literally within 5 feet in front of me. And I didn't see
Oh,
him. And it was now the reason I didn't have a headlight on this night is because it was a full moon, so like you could kind of like see like
oh, sure.
it was bright enough, but like yeah, it ran out right in front of me, and I was playing my music, and then all of a sudden, oh crap! And then one of them just like yeah, ran. I almost crashed the bike and everything like that, but yeah, it was
That's a bold move for that deer. You
well, it
know.
couldn't see me too. That's the only problem though. I think is I think
Oh,
it
you
just
didn't have a light.
yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't have a light. I was just on my bike, and then yeah, so then I was, but luckily, I mean, I wasn't going that fast. I was on my bicycle, so it was only like whatever.
just so long.
Yeah, so that was interesting, but
Yeah,
yeah, if everyone just you got to find interesting ways to do your cardio because I talked to too many people who yeah they do that they do that bland just on the treadmill, hating their lives and just wishing that it would end any second now. There's and
yeah.
I've tried that cardio where you're looking at the time all the time and you're just like okay only 30 seconds have passed since I've last looked at how long it's going to go. And it's like,
It's so true.
we got more than
Yeah,
this. So then it just makes it even longer than it is. Where like, it's got to a point now where like I have a set list of songs and podcasts that I listen to that literally once the podcast ends, I know that I'm like, okay, that podcast is 55 minutes long. So I know that I'm like, I know that I could probably either like head home or I can take a quicker route where I can know I can be home in like 20 minutes if need be. So that's really,
yeah, that works out. Yeah, but like I said, I like to just shop. I'm definitely heavily into Amazon. I've had to replace everything.
What is one thing that if you're looking online and you see you get it every single time? Because everyone has that one item that like if they see is available, it doesn't matter how much it costs or how long it's going to take, they buy it. Everyone has that one item.
I don't know if I can tell you. I'm just kidding. I buy a lot of glitter.
You're 50 plus years old, Laurie. What the hell are you doing with all this glitter?
I don't know.
No, I know. No, for me, it's literally, I love Gatorade, so it's anytime,
Oh, Gatorade. Oh,
anytime.
so okay. I guess I was going the wrong direction.
Oh, well,
Um,
outside just not talking about anything. Are you kidding me? I mean, yeah, no, but
I
yeah,
buy a lot of tank tops. I buy tank tops, a lot of tank tops, because you can never. It's hard to find just the right fit. Like I like them to be tight, and half the time I get them, and I'm just buying return. I'm kind of that person, and that's what's great about Amazon. But I do buy a lot of tank tops, fitted, not fitted. I like them tight.
well, and for me, it's flash drives. They're the one thing that I have to buy every time I see because I store all of these podcasts on a flash drive
Oh,
in case anything ever gets shut down, in case like all of a sudden YouTube just crashes and you lose all of your stuff. So I have all my podcasts on flash drives, and the thing is, they take up so much space. And since I've done, including the other two podcasts I do, since I've done like 900 total of them, I have like
wow.
13 flash drives now, just of these podcasts.
May I just recommend that you try to put them in the cloud somewhere, because what happens if your house goes on fire?
Well, here's the thing though. I have them stored in a metal box though.
I had a fireproof safe that was unrecovered.
Huh. I might just have to bury them out in the yard somewhere then, or something like that.
There you go.
There might be. I did not. Yeah, that is interesting. So yeah, I've thought about that, but yeah, the only thing with the cloud though is that like anyone can hack into it then, and then steal your stuff, and then say that they were me the whole time, and then do this. The amount of copyright that I get, Laurie,
Oh, I'm.
I have litigation every day, basically, where I just tell these people it's
Oh,
like I'm going to strike you, or I'm going to like not strike you as like strike, but like a strike on your channel. Basically, I wish you could just go and strike people that try to steal your stuff. You could just go and
that
smack
would
them
be
across the face
nice.
or something like that. But like I every day
Yeah,
I
to
get
my
emails.
planners, yeah,
Yeah,
I
because
know. It's a
now I've
process for everything.
yeah now I bought something that like tracks whenever something that I've ever published gets listed on like normally YouTube does that, but I bought something that like even if they try to mix it up so that it doesn't look exactly the way it's like if I post something and then they post it in black and white then so that like it doesn't really it's not like your stuff, it automatically
Oh,
pops up anyway, so then I can send them a little email saying like, hey, if you don't take this down I'm going to strike you, and then so
is it like something that just crawls out there and tries to find your stuff?
yeah
Yeah.
which worked because before like I would sometimes like even some stuff that I follow, some other podcasts that I follow that might have like some health and fitness people on, I would see them like share clips of it on stuff on some of their episodes, because I get like people that follow the podcast be like, oh hey, this guy stole some of your stuff on this, like he stole a clip that you were using or whatever like that, and it's just
Oh,
my God, Laurie. That's the one thing I wish they would have told me about before I got into this, is just like how much stuff you have to deal with, all that useless crap that no one would ever, you know.
It's got to be like a full-time job almost.
Don't even get me started on that. Yeah. Even my parents almost had an intervention for me. We were like, you spend so much time in your room when you're not at work or not doing all your other things. And I was like, well, you know, especially during COVID, now that things have opened up, I get out a lot more now. Like I went to a wedding a couple of weeks ago and stuff like that, but it was just, ugh. First of all, everyone, if you're going to have a wedding, I will say this, do not have an open bar or free beer, because they realized that mistake early on. And when I was like, okay, free beer, are you kidding me? So yeah, I had a lot of fun. I was the guy that led the dancing though on the dance. Like when they played You Make Me Want to Shout, I mean, I was the guy that was leading all like 300 people.
Oh my gosh, that is so Midwest.
Of course. Oh.
Did you do the chicken dance too?
Yeah. Laurie, who do you think I am? Yeah, it was up in Alexandria, beautiful wine country up there. We had it at a winery, and it was perfect weather, perfect everything. I'm not gonna lie, I got so inebriated that they had barbecue flavored pizza, which I'd never tried before, and I could barely even taste the barbecue on the pizza. So,
oh man, did you taste it on the way out? No, you didn't get sick, huh?
Well, here's the thing though. I've never admitted this, but I will admit this on the podcast. I have only thrown up from drinking once in my entire life.
Really?
I'm one of those weird people where it might come out a different hole, but you know, it's I've never thrown.
That's great.
It's a good problem, but then here's the thing, like I think I just have a willpower where like I hate throwing up, so then I just sort of will myself into like not throwing up. Where then I think I feel hungover longer though than like the normal person, then because I think it just metabolizes.
The drawback.
Yeah. I think that's the only problem there. Is it like, but that's only happened to me probably about a half dozen times in my life where I've drank so much that like I get so like hung. And this wedding was the last time that's happened, probably for like 3 years or 2 or 3 years of that, because I'm not. The weirdest thing, like people when they think that I would just be like this huge drinker, but like I do not drink really that much at all. Really, like it's once in a blue moon for me. Yeah. So,
how old are you?
Just turned 28 in July.
28. Okay. Well, you're still young. I mean, I was thinking, you know, as you get older, the hangovers. I feel like.
That's when you just become a full-fledged alcoholic and keep drinking though, so that you never get a hangover.
Right, hair of the dog or whatever. Yeah.
You know, if you get on a 4-year bender, you know it happens. You know, so just to keep it going. No, but I never thought our podcast, Laurie, would turn into us talking about 4-year benders and stuff. But hey, we're at this point now where we've talked for so many times. Friends. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's 5 times. 4 or 5. I lose track. Everyone. I
feel like it might be. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just been. I'm still surprised I'm still doing this, and it's been going on for as long as it has been. But I enjoy having the guests on, and I love
you're good at it. I've had people reach out to me and say, I saw you in Dee Dee's.
Yeah.
And they'll message me on Instagram or whatever, and I'm like, that's so great. He's a good kid, and I say kid. I mean, I know you're a man, but to me, you're. I have a 24-year-old daughter, so
I know that is absolutely crazy. And yeah.
By the way, my daughter's living with me now. She's 24, and I have to tell you, it's super disruptive. She was in college. She graduated college. She was been out on her own. I've been, on my own. Now we're together, and it's just
well, good thing I'm up in my room most of the time editing and doing all this other crap. So I'm not like, I sometimes come down probably like 4 or 5 times a day just to talk to him for a couple minutes, and then I go back up and I do some stuff. But now that after I'm done with you, like I have like a month-long period where like I have so much like stuff already edited where literally like I will not be doing any podcast stuff for at least like 2 weeks just so that I don't like drown myself in this. So yeah, and blow up, and plus I'm getting ready to move too, so I purposely set that up so like I have all these weeks just to like move the stuff in.
Yeah,
I won't be stressed out. My mom will, because she's just one of those people, but
right,
all of my stress gets transferred onto her, so I appreciate that at least. But
that's what moms do.
She was stressed out last night just talking about it. And I was like, Mom, I'm one of your 3 sons. I'm the 3 son that stayed here the longest. And all the other 2 have left. So I don't know but no, my little brother moved to San Diego in May or April. Yeah, which one comes before May? Yeah, April. So, but
April.
he's coming back for a week for Labor Day because he's gonna go visit with some friends that were here and stuff. So I got to pick him up at like 2 a.m. on Thursday at the airport.
There is an Uber for that.
I stay up late anyway, so it's.
Oh yeah.
I was up till like 3 a.m. last night anyway, but that was just because I got Papa John's yesterday and I couldn't sleep because I drank way too much Diet Dr. Pepper. So that's a whole different story for a whole nother podcast, everyone. But I know there's an Uber. But Laurie, you're talking as a Midwesterner, talking to someone who's from the Midwest. We don't let people get Ubers when they come home on flights.
We don't.
I'll be there I'll be
matter.
there 8 hours early, just waiting for him. Okay, so
I know. I totally get it.
that's the one thing I always find it funny when I'm talking to people from other regions. They don't understand the Midwestern nice kind of thing. Where like they don't understand. Like some people think that I might be like trying to take advantage of them by having them on the podcast. It's like no, you have to be from the Midwest to understand the kind of niceness where it's like it's self-depreciating and like it hurts yourself being that nice. Where it's like
So
it doesn't benefit anyone. It's just too unpleasantly nice. So yeah, I don't.
Right. It's just the way we're wired.
Yeah. Where it's like, yeah, you need an extra couple of fingers? Yeah, go ahead. I'll cut them off. And then I'll just be like, hey, yeah, there you go. Have fun. So yeah, that's the thing.
Accurate.
So,
Yeah.
but is there any point where you're in Georgia and dealing with the muggy, crappy weather that you do miss Wisconsin summers at all?
No. I mean, I do maybe miss a little bit more of the season change. We get it here, but
nothing beats fall in the upper Midwest, though. I'm sorry.
I know, it's beautiful, right? And now I'm actually considering moving maybe to Jacksonville or something, because when my condo's rebuilt, I'm going to sell it. I can't go back there. Long story, but I don't want to go back there. And right now I'm paying my mortgage and my rent, so it's a little, strapping for cash. But it is what it is. But I'm at the point where I work remotely. Soon my daughter will be moving out. I don't have a boyfriend or whatever. I can go wherever, and I think it would be nice to be near a beach, but I still need to be like near a airport, and that seems to be a good place to retire. Not that I'm retiring anytime soon. I'll be 1 foot in the grave before I retire, just because I like to work. Actually, I just like it. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Moving down there, where there's really no changes of scenery of seasons. Probably.
You think it's humid in Georgia? Wait until you go on to Florida, Laurie. I'm just warning you.
I've lived in Florida. I lived in South Florida, yeah, for 6 years. And I think that Jacksonville, because it's northern Florida, maybe it'll be a little better. I don't know. I know it's really humid in Savannah. That was another option. And then I was there for a little bit in the summer, and I'm like, this is really bad. So
yeah, that humidity will catch up on you. But I mean, these two questions I will ask you until I stop having you on the podcast, which for the foreseeable future, I cannot see an end to. If you could change one thing about the sport of bodybuilding and everyone would make the change, what would be one thing that you like to see changed?
One thing I could change about the sport of bodybuilding. Gosh. I can't really say like the politics of it, because I don't really see that part of it. I mean, I suppose there is that. I don't know. I wish that people in their older years would be, if they wanted to get into bodybuilding, they didn't feel intimidated by it. Like, I don't think you're ever really too old to go after that if that's what you want to do. I'm not going to say anything about bodybuilding in particular.
I mean 95 plus, you might need to reconsider things, but
I mean ageism is going to enter in there at some point, but I think
if you're 105 and putting up some weight, then that's a whole different story.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I suppose so. But I feel like some people are just intimidated by the sport, and I wish that weren't the case, because it's such a family, it's a big group of people, right? There are so many of us, but we're all close in a way. I don't know. You see people, you're like, oh, I follow you on Instagram. I love you this or that. I mean, everybody is so welcoming. So I wish that people would just be more accepting of it. And I mean, what else I've seen is a lot of people are into this fit shaming lately. it used to be, fat shaming or whatever, but now I feel like more and more people stare at me in public. I mean, now I just feel like I need to cover up even more, but I feel like, I don't know, people get resentful of it or something. And maybe it's because it's not achievable for them, but mind your own business. I mean, let people do what they want to do. So that's been an issue for me lately. Fit shaming.
The one thing that has just been so shocking for me is just how much more obese we've got as a nation, especially during COVID, where that has been one thing for me where it's almost gotten to the point where I say this jokingly, but not really jokingly, where we need to come back to like public fat shaming now. I think that's the only way that we can really turn things around as a society. We just bring it back. We have them stand in front of a stage of people and just laugh or something. We need to bring back something, because like it's getting to a point now where we are almost reaching that point as a country where like we really need to do some self-digging on this type of stuff. So, but that's a whole different.
I have something to add to that, actually. I have money to spend on a wardrobe because I have to replace all my clothes. And I can't stand the Little House on the Prairie, like fashions they have out there. And I think it's because people have gained all this weight during COVID and they're trying to hide it under these frocks of clothing. And they're trying to make it acceptable in a way. Like turning it into fashion is not the way to do it, in my opinion. So anyway, I have a very limited wardrobe because I refuse to buy into Little House on the Prairie.
I would love to look like Laura Ingalls Wilder, so I don't know what you're talking about with that. So, but
Don't throw on an apron then.
everyone, she was from Minnesota, so I do have to represent that, at least, although she was from way further south than excuse me, where I am at right now. But yeah, so Laurie, when we eventually do have you on a year from now, and you can say that you won't be competing, but again, we're not going to throw that out into the ethos right now because God knows what's going to happen a year from now.
Right.
Where would you like to be at in your overall life? Where would you like to be at when you come back on in a year?
Well, I'd like to have my house situation, settled. I'd like to have that squared away. My daughter out of here.
I'm sure she loves you very much, daughter.
Yeah, she's at work. She can't hear me. Um, I think physically, I would like to be where I'm at. I mean, in my career, I'm in a good place. So, I mean, beyond that, I just want my stability in my day-to-day life, and that's really it. I don't really need much. You know what I mean? I'm sorry if that's a crappy answer, but
that's the most Midwestern answer of all time. I don't really need much. Yeah, that's.
I don't, and I work for everything that I have. So, you know how it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where it's.
I don't need anything given to me. I'll get it my damn self.
So you don't need much. So I do got to ask though, if you had won that lottery that was like $1.4 billion, what would you have done?
What would I have done? Well, I would have probably given you a big chunk so you can move out to it. Get your nice place, upgrade your equipment. Not that you don't have good equipment. I'm sure it's wonderful.
My equipment is shit. I will be the first person to admit it.
Yeah. And I would probably send my daughter off to grad school, to a really good grad school.
If I was your daughter, I'm saying, I'm not going to no damn school now that my mom won the lottery. Are you kidding me?
Oh, right. I wouldn't tell her. I won the lottery.
Mom, you got a big mansion. How did that come to be?
Oh, no, I wouldn't. That's more to clean.
Oh, I'd buy my own private island. Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah. Maybe, some privacy would be nice. I would definitely run away.
Nobody on here would ever hear from me ever again. And I would be told, I would just disappear. And people would be like, oh, did he die? What did happen? Well, I'm just sitting there drinking margaritas all day, every day on some beach in Jamaica that I bought somewhere. I don't.
Yeah. I would think I would run away.
Yeah. That would have been. And we got some tickets. I did match 3 of the numbers. So that's as close as I got. Yeah. So the winning ones, at least. No, you got to get at least, I think it's 4 of them. And then you can find, if you get 4 of them, you get like $100,000, I think it was, or something like that. So I was 1 away from that, but it is what it is. But no, and then so there's Don't get me started on all that. I almost
I
hit
know.
that
I
100.
don't even play the lottery, so
I
I
only
guess,
got a couple tickets. They're only like $2 a ticket, so I think I won. I probably spent like $10 over that whole course of it. I think every time I just got one ticket, and then my dad, and my mom each got like $10 worth of tickets like each time, and they got close a couple of times where they got like 2 or 3 of the numbers, but yeah,
you got to play to win, you know.
you gotta play to win. But again, everyone go and check out Laurie's Instagram page. I say this all the time. You will get inspired to get off that couch and stop eating all those Twinkies. But again, Laurie, I cannot thank you enough for coming back on. I mean, you're one of my favorite
Oh,
guests to
thank
have
you.
on. I really enjoy talking to you, and I cannot wait to talk to you again.
Wait, I don't get to flex at the end?
Of course, duh.
I don't know if you can see.
Oh yeah, if I can see, look at that. Are you kidding me? She's put on so much more. Look at that size. Jesus. Laurie, come on. That is ridiculous. All right, everyone. This is Ryan Johnson, DD on the Spot, signing off. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.